Hello everyone, Dr. Scherer here. I've been missing a few days, and I'll be honest, I've been going crazy, wanting to make a difference, feeling hopeless that we can't stop this, being angry that we as a nation didn't prepare for this, and the lack of acknowledgement from those leading the country that we are living through the lack of poor planning just drives me crazy. But I'm back. What we're going to talk about today are a few things. First, let me start by please pray for the first responders, the nurses, respiratory therapists, doctors, maintenance men, National Guards troops, cleaning people at the hospitals in Seattle, New York, New Orleans, Chicago, and really every hospital around the world right now. I pray that as a small town we are protected, but that will only happen with vigilance. Please, only go shopping once every 2 weeks. Otherwise, stay in your house. Stay on your property. If you are 65 and older, you are obese with diabetes, heart disease, cancer, autoimmune disease, please stay home. You are at risk of dying if you get this virus. And for the love of all things good and holy, if you are sick with a cough, fever, shortness of breath, sore throat, a lack of smell or taste, stay home. For those around someone with those symptoms, you are stuck in your house for 14 days. Don't leave. Don't go to the grocery store. We have community members who are willing to go shopping for your meds at the pharmacy or your groceries at the store. We cannot test quick enough as a nation. I sent in a test this week, and I'm expecting results after March 31st. So stay home if you're at risk, stay home if you're sick, and stay home if you've been around someone who is sick. We cannot test enough to tell whether someone is contagious or not. Consider yourself contagious and stay home. Okay, the next part. What does the coronavirus look and sound like? So here are the big symptoms. 1, you can have a fever, and it can come and go, and it can last for several days, and I've even heard reports up to 2 weeks. It can be high, like 101 to 104, but some people don't get a true fever. Only about 82% of people will present with a fever when they have the coronavirus. Usually there's some coughing. It can be a drier cough, usually deep down in your chest. I've heard that it feels like they have shortness of breath, where they have a band around their chest and they just can't breathe. If you cannot talk in complete sentences, but instead when you call your mom, it sounds like, "Hi mom, how are you doing? You need to be seen, okay? If you can no longer walk to the bathroom without stopping to catch your breath, please go get seen by a medical provider, okay? You can have a headache. It's not necessarily a pounding, throbbing headache like a migraine, but maybe just a massive ache like your head doesn't feel right. You can be achy and really not want to move just laying on the couch. You may start with just a scratchy throat at the very beginning, or maybe a runny nose or congestion. In fact, you may even have diarrhea. And one of the craziest symptoms that we've started to realize is that some people, their first symptom is that they lose the sense of smell or the taste. And so food just doesn't have a flavor anymore. If you have these symptoms, you may have the coronavirus, okay? The disease can be a slow process, meaning maybe you have mild symptoms for a couple of days and then you start to feel ill. Stay home unless you absolutely need medical attention. Do not go to the grocery store, okay? Do not go visit your friends if you have these symptoms. So what happens if you do have these symptoms? So you might just have a cold. Stay home. Don't go out anywhere. Your household contacts shouldn't go out anywhere for 14 days either. You cannot go back to work until 7 days have passed since the onset of your symptoms, and you are 72 hours symptom-free, meaning that if on day 7 you still have a fever, you got to wait another 3 days fever-free before you can go back to work. Okay? Now, if you have shortness of breath, get evaluated. I'm seeing my patients remotely via the computer screen first, and then if I think that they need a pulse ox to see what their oxygen level is, I'm bringing them to my drive-through window and seeing what their oxygen level is, and if they need to go to the ER, then they go to the ER. And if not, they might come back the next day to do another pulse ox just to keep an eye on them. So if you don't have COVID, what else might you have? Well, you could have influenza. You could have a cold. You could have pneumonia. You could have other causes. Now with the first two, influenza and a cold, there's really not much to do. The same rules apply. Go home, rest, stay hydrated, drink fluids, stay home, okay? Stay away from everyone. If you have other concerns, then you might need to see a doctor. Maybe you need antibiotics if this really is a pneumonia. The rest of the medical problems in the world are not shutting down just to let us take care of COVID. So you still need to be evaluated. Call your doctor. Be seen. Make sure that they know what your symptoms are. This can be through telemedicine or it could be in person. So then I have patients ask me, well, what if I want to be tested? And the Illinois Public Health Department basically yesterday said if you have mild disease, you probably don't need to be tested. Besides, the results take 7 to 9 days, and hopefully that speeds up. But if not 7 to 9 days, you'll likely be well by the end of the time before we get your test results back. So it won't change much to know whether or not you have COVID. We do need to monitor your symptoms, though. A positive test doesn't change the fact that I need to make sure you don't need oxygen. A positive test doesn't mean that you need to go to the ER. A positive test doesn't mean that you'll end up in the ICU. What matters is that you get the care you need when you need it, and being able to get assessed by your doctor is important. But not everyone needs their pulse ox taken, okay? If you can count from 1 to 30 in 6 to 8 seconds, you're probably fine, okay? If you can say an entire sentence without taking a breath in the middle of it, you're probably fine. But if you can't walk to the bathroom without stopping to breathe, you're probably not fine, okay? So the other question I get is, like, I'm terrified. Like, what if my cold turns into something really bad? I don't want to die. Well, I don't want to die either, okay? So we do the best we can. We try not to get the virus in the first place by staying in our house and not going anywhere. But if you do get sick, you don't need to panic. Like I said, most of us, without the fast turnaround of testing, will just have to say, yes, you probably have the coronavirus. Stay home, okay? And if you have trouble breathing, let me know. And I'll check on you daily or twice a day to make sure you're not worsening. And if you worsen, then we'll take you to the emergency room and we'll get you treated. I don't want you to die, and I don't want to die, okay? So we just need to not panic, see how the symptoms progress, and hope that we're the ones that can just stay at home with a cold. So the next question is, how will I know if I worsen? Well, you'll have trouble breathing, like you can't catch your breath or you can't get enough air. Or maybe you need to go to the hospital if you can't eat or drink anything for more than a day. You need to be seen. Your headache can persist at home without needing to go to the emergency room. Your fevers can go up and down without needing to go to the emergency room. Your cough can be annoying at home without having to go to the emergency room. You can feel a little short of breath at home, but you should be able to walk around and get to the bathroom, and you should be able to talk in full sentences. But you can stay at home if those aren't that bad. You can stay at home if you have body aches. You don't need to rush to the emergency room, okay? So today I hope I described the majority of symptoms and why testing is so hard right now and why we're basically foregoing it in mild symptoms, and that you can expect to have a cold, but what to watch out for if your symptoms progress and when to get treatment, okay? I'll see you soon. Wash your hands a lot. Until next time, this is Dr. Scherer.